Hi, the washing machine is on. I forgot about this until I started to film this. But the thing is, I don't really have time. So I can't wait. If I wait till it's done, the light's all gonna be even gone. And I haven't quite figured out where the best place to film is. Obviously I do want to have my books in the background in some capacity. Point is, I hope the washing machine isn't too loud. If I don't film this now, it's gonna be like, I don't know, like 10 days into September when I finally get like a TBR out, which feels kind of silly because also like I'll have already started it. Plus this is mostly for like Shorty September, which is obviously short books, so like things are apt to change fairly quickly because they don't take that long to read. I say this now, who knows how much reading I'll get done. I do have like a big deadline at the end of this month, so yeah. Okay, so I am going to show you my September TBR. I think I'm going to talk about some other things aside from Shorty September stuff, but like generally like that's what this is. So Shorty September is being run by Heather from Soggy Expat Book Nerd and Bert and Shan from Story Time. I'll leave a link to everything in the description box, but like I'm sure you know about it. It's a big event on BookTube. The idea is to read short books to you. I think for me, like maybe I would consider a short book one that goes a bit above 200 pages, but generally I want it to be like 200 pages or less. There are some prompts and I think I kind of cover a couple of them, definitely not all of them, but I will let you know what is for what. The first thing though is I am actually still reading this book from last month, A House in Norway by Victor Hjort, translated from the Norwegian by Charlotte Barsland. I think I have this much left and it is 175 pages and I'm on 129, so hopefully I'm going to finish this today. It is September, so it will count as Shorty September. I mean, I kind of wanted to finish it last month, but I just didn't. I think probably the two main prompts that I have like multiple things that I have multiple things for are translated and modern classic, which I believe are Denim Shorts and Lederhosen. I'll just show you the translated and then we'll go from there. I'm definitely not going to read all of these. These are just kind of like some options, and especially with these translated ones there's definitely some overlap with my last month TBR. I did make some progress but not like loads, and I didn't get to quite a few of the books that I wanted to get to that were like not part of the World Cup reading challenge I was doing, which I mean was to be expected, but yeah, I still want to read those. So first of all we have Family Lexicon by Natalia Ginsberg, translated from the Italian by Jenny McPhee. And this, I think, as soon as I finish reading A House in Norway, I'm gonna start reading this. Yeah, so there's that. This isn't translated, right? Then we have a book that I got at the library, which is, I think, also translated from the Italian, but by a Swiss author, and that's the like SS Proletarca by Fleur Jaegi. I read Sweet Days of Discipline last month and I really enjoyed it, so the library had more of her books, so I was like, they actually do have like a couple of her like short story collections, but I don't really want to read those. This was the only other novel I think aside from Sweet Days of Discipline, and even then it's obviously very short. This is like 120 pages. So this is about a 15-year-old girl and her distant, financially ruined, yet somehow beloved father Johanna's taking a cruise together to Greece on the SS Proletarca. I think it's like a coming of age story, and yeah, interesting. It describes itself as compressed, delicate, but brutally precise, which I felt like is quite a good description of Sweet Days of Discipline too. Then we have Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector, translated by Alison Ontrecken. I wanted to get to this last month. I'm gonna start it as soon as I can. I do also have another Clarice Lispector. This one's Agra-Viva, which is shorter than Near to the Wild Heart, translated by Stefan Tobler. An unordered meditation on the nature of life and time. It doesn't actually describe what this is about on the back. It literally just says like, for example, one musician read it 111 times. Not very useful blurb, but there we go. I guess if you have her face on it, what else do you need? That's sarcasm. Okay, then I have The Inseparables by Simone de Beauvoir, translated by Lauren Alkin. I'm excited about this one. It's like queer and it was very newly discovered, sort of, yeah. I also have 40 Years Lost by Rosa Maria Archambault, translated from, I think, the Catalan by Peter Bush. And then I have The Pure and the Impure by Colette, which is translated from the French by Herma Briffaut. Those are the translated ones. Obviously, like, out of those, I think every single one, well, I suppose I wouldn't say this counts as a modern classic, but I think literally all of the other ones do, because they're all from the 20th century, prior to the 80s, I would imagine. I guess whilst we're talking about modern classics, I also do have a couple other options. I can't remember which one yeah, it was Denim Shorts, wasn't it? That was the modern classic one. So we have these four. So this is I Am Lazarus by Anna Cavan, which I actually think is a collection of short stories, which I didn't know when I first got this. I actually think I maybe borrowed this from a friend like years and years ago, and then I just didn't read it, and I didn't read it, and I didn't read it. I also have this little collection of Women of the Harlem Renaissance, Poems and Stories, edited by Marissa Constantinou. Obviously this is very small and it collects a bunch of things together. And then I also have Shadow Dance by Angela Carter, which is a book that I went to read for my Virago reading. So during Virago season I try to read Virago published books because it's a pun and it's fun, and also because I tend to like collect a few of those because I'm interested in them, and then, you know, I don't want to leave them languishing on my bookshelves for years and years. So this was her first novel, so that's very interesting. I do also have this, I guess this one is actually not really a modern classic, but there's also Liza of Lambeth by Somerset Maugham, which is from the 1890s. I might save this for October. Also, there are a couple challenges. There's Shorty Shorts, which is a book from the 70s or 80s. So I think that both of these are from the 70s or 80s. Agua Viva was published in 1973 and 40 Years Lost was published in 71. And then there's also a prompt that's like Lodge Shorts, which is a book you bought because you were trying to be cool. I don't really try to be cool, it's definitely just a lost cause, but I do feel like this book probably does have the like cult status of like being like a cool girl book, and I definitely think on like BookTube there are some like cool like Clarice Lispector readers. So yeah, Near to the Wild Heart probably would be that for me. One of the prompts is a book with water on the cover. Do we think that this would count? It's a boat. I'm not sure that you can even see the water, but it is blue. So maybe I could get that prompt, which is Dolphin Shorts. I do actually have some non-fiction choices as well, partially like inspired by Sian's like video of non-fiction, and also, I mean, I want to read these books, and a couple of them I think will be useful for my research. But and I have this like kind of pipe dream of like doing a video where I kind of do like a roundup of like recent Marxist feminist like works, and I talk about them, like review them all together. So things that would talk about social reproduction, care work and gendered labour and that kind of thing. I don't know, we'll see. But I have The Care Manifesto, The Politics of Interdependence by the Care Collective, which is like not only, you know, short in number of pages, but it's also short in size. Then I have Abolish the Family, A Manifesto for Care and Liberation by Sophie Lewis. I think this one is one I really would like to get to for Shorty September. Then I have this book, which I actually have had on my TBR for ages, and that's Maman, What Are We Called Now by Jacqueline Mesnil-Amar, which is a autobiography of somebody in Vichy, France, I think. Yeah, it's about her experience joining like the Jewish Resistance Network, or maybe her husband doing that, and then writing about that. It is also translated. I guess I should have included that in the translated pile. And the French title is something more like Those That Don't Sleep. Oh yeah, and then the translation is by someone called Francine York. And this I actually put on my like 5-star TBR predictions like literally years ago now, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But then I didn't have it with me for a long time, so I didn't get to it, and then I got Mari to bring it back with her, I think in her most recent visit. So I now do have it, and as a result I would like to get to it. And then I also have another of the new kind of like political Marxist feminist books that I would kind of be interested in maybe reviewing together at some point, but who knows. They Call It Love, The Politics of Emotional Life by Alva Gottby. Again, I think this will maybe be useful for some of my research, but it's also just useful reading. Yeah, I'm a bit like, maybe this will just say things that I already know or like agree with, but that I guess would be okay, just maybe not that interesting. Cool. think those are all the like shorties. I've somehow managed to talk for ages. I do also have a couple other things that I'd really like to get to this month. So I wrote like a summer TBR, so it hasn't really felt like a particularly summery thing, and then also I moved and I've just been quite ill. So anyway, as a result, I don't feel like, I mean, I did okay with that list of books, but I haven't got through all of them, and one of them I'd really like to read is this one, which is Intimacies by Katie Kitamura, because it seems really interesting in terms of like thinking about interpretation and translation, and I think it's about violence and politics, Europe, like an American trying to escape New York by going to The Hague. So yeah, there's that. I do also have this, which I was lent by Mari. I'm not sure if I will get to it this month, but it is something I would like to read as soon as I can. And that's Everything for Everyone, An Oral History of the New York Commune, 2052 to 2072, by Emmy O'Brien and Eman Abdelhadi. And yeah, I've obviously heard great things about it. I mean, I already talked a bit about my Virgo season, Virago reading in my last TBR, I think. So, you know, those things are still on the list. I read one of them. I do also have this, which I always forget, but I would really like to get to. So I might swap it out for a couple of the ones that I thought I was going to read. So this is Apology for the Woman Writing by Jenny Diskey. Like, it's literally, I was like looking at it the other day because I was like, oh look, this is, you know, published by Virago, and then I reread the back of it and I was like, oh, I have to bump this up my TBR. So overwhelmed was Marie de Gournay by the work of French essayist and philosopher Michel de Montaigne that when she finally met him, she stabbed herself with a hairpin until the blood ran in order to show her devotion. An awkward, obsessive character, she set herself against the world in her determination to achieve her ambitious dreams. Only her servant Jamin really knew her. Obviously, we've got more Virgo reading. I did also start this, I guess like maybe in July now, but then I put it on pause for August whilst I was doing my Women's World Cup readathon, so I'm about halfway through, maybe a bit more than that. Yeah, more than that, of After Sappho by Selby Wynne Schwartz. And I mean, I would like to finish it, and this was on my summer TBR. And then I got given this lovely book, Worth Fighting For, Bringing the Rojava Revolution Home, by Jenny Keyston and Natalia Sarek, by my friend, and I read aloud like some of it to her while she was here, like we read it together in that way, and you know, I'd like to keep going. I don't think I will finish it. It is non-fiction, which just takes me longer, and obviously I do have a bunch of plans for this month, but I also don't think it's something I'd want to read fast. It's also just like beautifully like published. So I look forward to keeping reading that as well. Okay, I really hope that the washing machine wasn't really loud and noisy. Oh my gosh, I did want to show you all this new little tchotchke or whatever the word is that I got for my new flats. It's like little mushroom, and it has two bunnies, one on the outside and one on the inside, and you can definitely put like some kind of light thing in there. I'm not sure how, like, I think it would have to be a tea light rather than a larger candle, but it, you know, it does have holes, so probably would shine some light out. But like, isn't it so cute? Like, it's just lovely. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Let me know if you're participating in Shorty September, or like how your reading is going, and I will talk to you when I next talk to you. Bye!